Hi, I am Nilesh Arora, software engineer and a backend developer. Today we will be learning about virtualization. What is virtualization and how do we attain virtualization using Vagrant and Virtualbox? So before beginning, what is virtualization? Virtualization is creating a new environment, a new machine or a new system within your current system. So this system is completely isolated from your working system. It has its own unique operating system, a unique RAM, and a unique storage. So virtualization can be done in various ways. Few of them are using Vagrant, VirtualBox, Hyper-V, Docker, and many other softwares. There are many other softwares which are used to attain virtualization. So today we'll be learning about Vagrant. So Vagrant is a tool, an open source tool which helps you to create virtual machines. A virtual machine is, as I said, is different from your current machine, so you can use it for a specific purpose. So by default the virtualization is enabled for your machine if your machine is somewhat newer. If you are having an older machine, the virtualization is not allowed by your motherboard by default. So you'll need to enable that from your motherboard settings. Go to your BIOS setup and select Intel virtualization as enabled. So you will be able to create virtual machines. So I am using Ubuntu 2004, but Vagrant is available for Windows as well as Mac. So if you are running Windows and you want to learn Linux or you want to perform some tasks on Linux, you can take help of Vagrant to install Linux or any other operating system. I will be using Ubuntu 2004 and I will be using Ubuntu 1804 for running the virtual machine. So let's start by installing Vagrant and VirtualBox. Since Vagrant requires a software at a backend, so you will need to install VirtualBox first. After that, you will be able to install Vagrant. So now I am on my Linux terminal. I'll be using a command called sudo apt install virtualbox to install VirtualBox. Since I have already installed that, so I am getting a message VirtualBox is already at the newest version. Similarly, I'll install virtual Vagrant on this machine. So I'll run sudo apt install Vagrant, and the same thing is present. Vagrant is already at the newest version. So for Vagrant, you will need to go to a folder to create a virtual machine location. The machine would be stored there. You will get a configuration file known as Vagrant file, via which you can configure each of the settings. So I am on my home directory, so I'll create a new directory. Okay, dir, and I'll enter the directory. So I am inside this directory now. So I'll run a command called vagrant init that initializes the vagrant file on this system, on this folder actually. So it is optional that you specify the operating system here, or you can enter the operating system in the file. So I will specify the operating system here. Ubuntu/Pioneer 64 is the name of that operating system. Ubuntu 18.04. If you want to see the operating system, you can go to vagrantup.com. The link would be provided in the description. So when I pressed enter, I got a message: the Vagrant file has been placed in this directory. So you can see that the file is now available in this directory. So if I'll try to see this file, then you can see that there is a configuration written here, although most of the part is commented. So you can enable the configurations as per your requirement. So Vmbox is now pointed to Ubuntu Bionic 64. That means this is my operating system. If I didn't specify this at the time of initialization, I would have an option to write it here. So that doesn't matter if you do or if you do not specify at the time of initialization. So for starting a virtual machine from Vagrant, you'll need to enter a command known as Vagrant up. So when you'll press enter, your new operating system would be downloaded. I think I have already downloaded this, so that won't take a longer time. But if it takes, I'll perform a time lapse here. Yeah, so the operating system was already downloaded into my machine, so I do not need to download it again. So the operating system is now configured for use with this virtual machine. So Vagrant is unlike any other operating system. The Vagrant accesses the OS by using SSH, that is secure shell. So here we do not have a key file that is stored within the directory somewhere. I do not know. Um, but you'll need to, but the base requirement is, but the base principle of entering a virtual machine is Vagrant SSH. So I'll perform Vagrant SSH. That SSH is made to this machine. Now I have entered that machine that says welcome to Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. By default, the storage is 9.63 GB, memory usage is 12%. I can also upgrade this to the latest release by performing the command. This is the actual Linux which is run over any machine. Now, this is the actual Linux which runs on AWS and many other cloud platforms. So if you are a beginner with cloud and you want to experiment something with the Linux machines over the cloud, you can use this method on your local, so that you do not get any charges for these things, and you can definitely perform these things. And if you get stuck somewhere, simply delete that folder and the machine would be deleted. Okay, so this is now my machine, so I can do anything. I can make a directory, I can create a file, I can do anything with this machine. This is totally up to me. I can install a server in this so that it serves me something. I can do anything with this machine as I can do in the cloud system. Okay. So going ahead, we can discuss the Vagrant file. What is a Vagrant file? How do I forward the ports via the Vagrant file, and how do I synchronize a folder from this machine to my current machine? So I'll exit this, I'll go out, and let us now see the Vagrant file. Okay, so this is my Vagrant file. The main things which we can do is we can forward a port here. To forward a port, that means if I'll enter this host IP is 127.0.01. If I enter this on my browser colon 8080, then I will reach the port 80 of the machine. Okay, now let me just show you with an example. Okay, so before doing that, I need to save this file. Now I'll save this file and I'll need to reload this machine. To reload this machine, I'll need to enter the command Vagrant Reload. Then it will restart my machine. So now my machine is started and my ports are now forwarded. So let's go to Google Chrome and see what happens. So now we are on Chrome. I have opened an incognito window. You can simply use the normal windows also. I will enter my host IP, that was the local host 1 colon 8080 HTTP. So I am now on that page that is running on the virtual machine. To check that, we can also edit this configuration. I edit this page so that I can show you that you are on the virtual machine page. So to edit this, let's switch to the terminal. So I am using Apache 2. So Apache 2 by default stores all the files in var HTML folder. So here I am one thing, I am not logged into my machine as of now. So let me log in first. So to run Vagrant, that is not a global command. So I need to go back to my directory and then I will be able to see the Vagrant file and then I'll be able to run the command. So Vagrant SSH, that will log me into the virtual machine. So now I am logged into my machine. So I will go to cd var HTML and I will see the one page which is being shown to me on the browser. So I'll edit this page using any editor you want. You can edit this. So I will change, let's say, this Apache 2 default page running on virtual machine on Vagrant. I will save this. Now I do not require my machine to reload because it is a change which is internal of that machine. I am not changing configuration of my machine, so I do not require to reload this. So I can simply reload the page on my browser. So let's switch back to the browser. So now we are on the browser and I'll hit reload and you will see the text changes. Actually, the text is removed from here. Let's switch back to the terminal to see what happened. So now we are on the terminal. I will just edit this page. I'm getting this. I think that I have commented this or I have changed it somewhere um, during that. But actually, it is now proved that the system is the page is rendered by our virtual machine only. So there are various configurations for the virtual machine. There are various configurations for the virtual machines. We will discuss while opening the Vagrant file. To open the Vagrant file, I'll need to exit from this machine. And after that, I'll see the Vagrant file. I will edit this file from the terminal. So currently we have performed this operation. We have forwarded a port 8080 that actually points to the port 80 of the Vagrant machine. Now we can also configure a private network if we do not want to add a virtual port forwarding. We can add a virtual private network. An IP would be specified here, and if you log into that IP, you will not require any port forwarding. You can simply log in. You can simply access the port 80 by using this IP address of the port 80 of the virtual machine. Also, the main thing is you can configure the synchronized folder for this machine. So if I have added a synchronized folder, if I'm changing that, the synchronization works between the guest and the host machines. If I am adding a synchronized folder, then if I'll change something on my machine, the change will automatically be reflected to the folder in the virtual machine. So the folders remain in sync. So you can also increase the memory size. By default, it is 1 GB. And if you want, you can also add some new things. The different memory size. You can also add whether the machine should boot in the GUI mode or not. So there are a few things you can do. And if you are using the machine for the first time, you can perform this command. And if you can already perform this command if the machine is started, when the machine is started. So you can perform the commands, you can write the commands, and the machine will perform it for you. You can also configure the update. If there is any update for the Vagrant box, the update would be automatically done, or you'll be informed of the update. So this was all about Vagrant and virtualization. I hope you liked this, and I would definitely look forward for the feedbacks in the comment section. So we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.